If you track energy markets, you know a shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz is bad. But defense analysts lose sleep over a different scenario, one where a full quarter of the world's energy supply is halted overnight. This map shows the geography of that threat. It requires the simultaneous closure of two heavily trafficked choke points, the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait linking the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden. This is an active threat. Recently, a senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader explicitly stated that their regional allies could close Bab el-Mandeb on command. The Houthis in Yemen have both the geographic positioning and the artillery to do it. After their 2023 and 2024 Red Sea campaigns, they are battle-tested and entirely capable of executing a strict blockade. Analysts at Cambridge University classify this dual closure as a nightmare scenario. If both straits shut down, it would immediately freeze a massive share of the world's energy supply and effectively choke off Asia's export capacity to Europe. For the broader global economy, this triggers an immediate recession. But for China, a nation heavily reliant on importing ocean-bound fuel to run its domestic industries, this sequence of events is an immediate existential threat. Think about how global maritime logistics normally operate. The standard assumption is that if one choke point closes, you simply absorb the delay and activate a backup route. Saudi Arabia spent billions building their Plan B for exactly this reason. You are looking at their massive east-west pipeline designed to pump oil safely across the desert to the port of Yanbu, bypassing Hormuz entirely. This traces oil from the Saudi interior to the coast. It bypasses Hormuz but terminates at Yanbu. Any Asia-bound oil must navigate south through Bab el-Mandeb. It reaches the port only to become completely stranded. Without open waters, the billion-dollar pipeline serves no purpose. The second major logistics failsafe relies on rerouting energy and liquefied natural gas from Europe or North Africa down through the Suez Canal. But any cargo sailing south through the Suez Canal sails straight into the exact same dead end at the Bab el-Mandeb exit. In a dual closure event, the Red Sea ceases to be a transit corridor. It becomes a sealed trap, physically cutting off standard maritime access to Asia. With the Red Sea and Persian Gulf sealed off, there is exactly one remaining maritime route to get Gulf energy into Asian ports, sailing entirely around the African continent via the Cape of Good Hope. This animated map shows the sheer volume of global traffic suddenly forced onto that single path. We are talking about 20 million barrels per day of crude, plus liquefied natural gas and refined products, all funneling through one immense detour. The logistical reality is harsh. The global tanker fleet lacks the capacity to absorb the massive additions in transit time and distance required. Look at the sheer mass of these vessels. During the Houthi attacks, striking one tanker a day caused major container lines to divert. Freight rates tripled, and that happened while the Strait of Hormuz was fully open. The Dallas Fed ran the economic projections for a dual closure scenario. Their conservative models show oil spiking past $150 a barrel, triggering economic shocks exceeding anything recorded since World War II. Shifting everything to the Cape route would overwhelm the global tanker fleet. When the physical volume of fuel reaching Asian ports can no longer meet demand, the result is widespread energy rationing. This Middle East bottleneck provides the strategic logic behind China's trillion-dollar domestic infrastructure program. The mere possibility of these two straits closing simultaneously proves to Beijing that their reliance on ocean logistics is a fatal mathematical weakness. This is why they spend billions on overland infrastructure. You are looking at the China-Russia East Route pipeline being lowered into the ground. It was built specifically to import energy directly across a land border, bypassing the oceans entirely. It also explains China's refusal to abandon its vast domestic coal network. To Beijing, these massive coal plants operate outside the reach of naval blockades. They represent a completely unblockable, sovereign energy reserve. Even the rapid rollout of electric vehicles, like these rows of charging taxis, serves a strict military and strategic purpose. Every electric motor operating domestically directly reduces the nation's reliance on vulnerable imported oil. The threat at Bab el-Mandeb clarifies the reality behind China's infrastructure boom. They are running a desperate existential race to decouple from the sea before the geopolitical trap slams shut.